like I was getting notifications saying that like my stream disconnected. But anyways, fuck. All right, you guys, you still there? I'm like my internet's starting to mess up. Sorry, guys. All right, you guys, you still there? Okay, cool, cool. There we go. All right, hey, if you guys are just missing out, or if you guys you got to re-click on the stream in order to get it to go. My fault, man. But like, yeah, I'm just trying to get this to work. So anyways, we the people of Colorado have by consensus agreed that marijuana is not a crime. We the people of Colorado have by consensus agreed that marijuana is not a crime in this territory known and recognized as Colorado. There we go. Beautiful. Loving that. All right, so also like I just wanted to go through and talk about this too. Is privacy birthed Bitcoin. Okay, so this is something that's really good, and I'm going to get into the reason why I titled this about the USI Tech stuff. We'll get into it in just a second. But privacy birthed Bitcoin. Cryptography was originally developed by governmental agencies and the military in the late 70s before data encryption technology was released to the public. It wasn't until the early 90s that the cyberpunk movement was officially founded by Eric Hughes, Tim May, and John Gilmore. As Kaiser points out, the publication of previously classified knowledge and developments in encryption technology had a big impact on the ability of cyberpunks to improve the technology. Getting into how we got to the Genesis block, the idea of having private messages sent electronically required advances in technology, and at some point, the government's work in creating encryption released set out into the wild. The term cyberpunk would only be immortalized in the Oxford Dictionary in '06, but the movement was founded on the notion that cryptography and privacy technology would bring about societal change. Without those original developers, the encryption technology and protocols would not have been set in place. Satoshi even credited the work of Dr. Adam Back, creator of the anti-spam technology Hashcash, as well as B-Money creator Wei Dai, I'm sorry if I'm butchering any of this, in the original Bitcoin white paper. Kaiser said Bitcoin would not exist in its current form without all of this work. Quote, Bitcoin was not born in a vacuum. It has 40 years of history to it. It's evolved through all these different technologies. It's a unique protocol, and like gold, it's attracting a huge amount of capital. Genesis is about privacy and the ability to protect that electronically, ending up where we are today. The cyberpunk movement is the Genesis movement. No one should buy Bitcoin without studying the cyberpunks. Yes. And I totally agree with this, because this is going to end up instilling a lot of things inside of us that we're going to see where it was like, wow, you know, you could tell that as our society advanced and we would get such amazing technologies that we have like computers in our pockets that we hardly even know all of the features that they do. Let me ask you this. If anybody knows on this channel every single setting in their phone and exactly where it is and every single setting and what it does, I would give you some stars. But I don't think anybody on this channel knows every single setting in their phone and every single feature that their phone does and why it does that. And that's something for us to think about, guys, is we're buying products that are already smarter than us. We're buying products that already have multiple microphones, multiple cameras, multiple areas of being able to serve up specialized content, and we don't even know what they all do anymore. Okay? And so that's where the cyberpunk movement started to happen, where they were like, you know, we saw a day when like this type of stuff would happen, when people would have to start to build their own devices. And maybe at a certain point their devices would become so locked down that they wanted something different and they wanted to customize their devices. So they would have to build a cell phone with an antenna and a hard drive, a memory card on it, and a screen and all of that. So just think about that. And then you can also see that we already have all of that on YouTube. You know, you could build a cell phone out of a Raspberry Pi. It's a small little computer, a $40 computer. You could build so many things out of things now that like it's already upon us. So I just wanted you guys to see that, you know. And then next, this is what we were talking about today. Is today the news came out that, and I don't like the title of this, but it says scammers in panic mode. But I don't care. It's not a scam. It says USI Tech bans U.S. and Canadian users following BitConnect's legal problems. So a day after BitConnect was served a cease and desist order, the second most popular crypto investment opportunity. Every time that I see scam in this article, I'm going to say investment opportunity. And it was just because I wanted you guys to see this is the best article that's kind of like summarizing it all. But they just act like it's a scam. And I'll show you guys, like, if you guys want to see, I'll show you, because these things are starting to shut down anyways. So I'll take some screenshots so you could see how much of a scam it was for me. But anyways, it just says the second most popular crypto investment opportunity, USI Tech, has terminated its USA and Canadian members. In a laughable move, they're actually blaming their own users for their troubles, now making the case even though their entire system functioned off people spamming and referring others, it's the user's fault for sharing the links they provided. So basically what's happening is that when you log into USI Tech, you will end up seeing that there's a long contract up there, and it's basically talking about how you know, they don't want to do this, but they are going to be pulling out of the US and in Canada, and they are going to be allowing people. And the reason why they're doing this is because there were some people in Texas that were going around saying that you can make guaranteed money, you can make guaranteed returns. This is every day. Don't worry about it. Just put everything you own into this and you'll be safe. And so basically what they were doing is that there were people out there giving out financial advice, whereas in this country, I guess it is illegal to give out financial advice and tell people such things as that. And that's where the regulators in Texas have now started to serve cease and desist orders yesterday on BitConnect, a few weeks ago on USI Tech. And that's why this isn't any new news, but they've served a cease and desist order. And this is part of why I want you guys to see that, you know, all of the regulations and all of the articles that we've talked about, this is something that you can see now that it's becoming complex to use cryptocurrencies due to all the rules and regulations that are creeping in. And this is fascinating because not even a year ago, we didn't really have very much legal or law bodies stating anything that of what this is. And so what is happening now is that BitConnect is served as cease and desist order for trading unlicensed securities, and USI Tech as well. And what's important to see is that I don't feel it's a scam. I never felt that these products or these programs were scams. And in fact, before the next few streams, I will definitely get some screenshots for you guys to show you how much I put into these companies and how much I got back from these companies, so that you can see what a type of a scam it is. And I just want you guys to know that I was completely comfortable with it. And the money that I have invested into these things, I knew that if I were to invest in these things, that I have to be comfortable with losing that money. But it feels like what's happening is that there is so much regulation happening in these first world countries like Russia and the US, that there's a lot of projects that are just going to steer clear of these first world countries if they're smart, because they don't want to deal with all of these regulations and being dragged into these countries' courts. So that's what's so fascinating about all of this. The United States of America Corporation must respect and adhere to all treaties and contracts made with each of the states and territories. Our law is constitutional. The constituents of Colorado have agreed. Any attempt to usurp our sovereignty would be, by law, an act of war. Well, so you already know we have Trading with the Enemies Act, and yeah, they also see that as well. And what I'm seeing here is that, you know, it's just something where I've reported a long time ago about how there have been multiple different payment sites that I used to use that I had Bitcoin in that suddenly I have access to no longer, because all of a sudden they were like, nope, we found out that you're in the US and we just don't want to deal with all the laws there. We don't want to deal with everything that's going on there. That's just too crazy for us to get into right now. We're just trying to build a cryptocurrency. We're just trying to make a product, okay? We're not trying to be inspected and regulated and told that we're like frauding everybody all the time and having to prove all of that. Like, we're just trying to go. And so I want you guys to see that, like, the way I feel about it is that, like, these were never scams, but this was something that was providing such a beautiful opportunity that it seems as though that, you know, whenever you're doing something right, you're going to have haters, right? So USI Tech and BitConnect are doing something right, and they're going to have haters. And those haters are resulting in the fact that, you know, they're going to try to regulate them. And my solution here is that BitConnect is now, it's still open to everywhere except for Texas. And you would have to pretty much leave Texas if you want to Test, test. Okay. I think this is going to work now. My bad. Yo, does this work? Okay, cool. Yo, thank you so much for calling that out, bro. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right. Appreciate you, Ray. Nice. Okay, cool. So, yeah, as this is, guys, like I was just saying that USI Tech has pulled out of the US and Canada. You can withdraw your funds for the next 14 days, but after that, it's going to be shut down to anybody in the US. And so it's starting to make other countries look really attractive to me. And that's just something that I wanted to point out there. So thank you for saying that the sound isn't on. And yeah, so USI Tech, make sure you withdraw your funds for the next 14 days, or else you'll be missing out on those funds. And it's sad because the homework that we have tonight is to think about why USI Tech is doing this, and how many other cryptocurrencies you don't hear about because you're in the US, and how many other cryptocurrencies you may not hear about because you're in Canada, and how many other ICOs and projects you may not hear about because you're in the US, and why the US is another good way to think about it. And you might start to drift towards what I was saying the whole time, is the fact that USI Tech is pulling out is because of there's so many rules and regulations that they're having to deal with here, and that there were some people in Texas that were talking about how they were going to get guaranteed income with USI Tech, and every day, don't worry about it, it's going to be income for you, guaranteed. So they were giving out that financial advice, you know, that we shouldn't be doing. And anything on this stream and all streams, just let it be known that I never give out financial advice, even when I like seem like I'm sounding like I'm giving advice, but I'm just like basically saying about what I would do from a third perspective. So yeah, anyways, as that is, I just wanted you guys to know that, you know, USI Tech is pulling out. Why do you think they're pulling out? There's a lot of different regulations here, and it's not just here, but there's going to be other places that are going to have a lot of regulations, and it's going to be a lot easier for companies like USI Tech and other ICOs and cryptocurrencies to flourish when they don't have to deal with so many rules and regulations. So that's just something that I wanted to point out there. And yeah, pull your funds out, because after 14 days from now, your account will be shut down. So, and I also want you guys to see too that within this article there was a lot of words called scam, and I never thought that BitConnect or USI Tech were scams at all. And that's why I don't have any panic. I don't really mind about when people say that type of stuff, because I'm going to get screenshots for you guys so you can see the amount of money that I put in, and then you could also see what I've gotten back from it, and then you can, you know, make your decisions there on being like, okay, I'll see if that's really a scam or not. Okay, cool. Yeah, man, Bray, I'm so appreciative that you called that out on the audio. Okay, cool. So yesterday, another article came out yesterday, and Telegraph says Bitcoin no longer top dog because of how it is defined. And do you guys remember about how I always talk about how words are important and definitions are important? Well, we're now 5 days into the new year, where we're dealing with a Center of Disease Control, the CDC, which has banned words like entitled and transgender, and there's another few words that they're not even allowed to use around that center. And I've also talked about how like the words are so important because the definitions behind them give the words the meaning. And whenever a lot of people start to agree on what the meaning of a word is, it's hard for that word to try to express itself in other ways, to give respect to our language. And so here's what I want to say, is that the total market cap of the cryptocurrency has reached a new milestone. It all began with Bitcoin challenging the established order of money, currency, banking, and finance. But we're seeing that, you know, banking and finance is definitely trying to make it the same as it always was. And there was heavy adoption taking place where merchants were climbing on board to match the interest of individuals. And to this end, Bitcoin was being heralded as the perfect digital currency. However, even earlier this year, when fees were pushing $2 rather than the current $20, there were rumblings about the original digital currency staying too far from its original purpose. To this end, Bitcoin Cash was born, with its believers stating that its ability to transfer almost instantly for little to no fees makes it the real Bitcoin. Despite your feeling towards Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, it is proof that Bitcoin, the original, was deviating from the original white paper. And Bitcoin has definitely, because it allowed for other forks, what all this says is that when it allowed for other forks, it means that Bitcoin chose what path it is. And it says Bitcoin may no longer be relevant. It says the issue is now that Bitcoin has chosen its path and as such become almost stale in a continually innovating world. The path of being digital gold is also a rather basic one, as every digital currency out there can hold value. Bitcoin had mass appeal and relevance in terms of being in the mainstream. Thus, if there were to be an adoption of digital currencies for payments or retail, it would be Bitcoin at the top of the pile. And that right there is why it's always going to be relevant. And that is no longer the case. There are other coins out there that are both a store of value but also have other advantages. So I think that Bitcoin will always end up having some relevancy just because it taught us what distributed cryptocurrencies are and peer-to-peer. And it's always going to end up setting some things up for people. But yeah, here's another part. It's saying that Ripple is a very, and this other part that I wanted just to talk about here is that it's both a store of value but also has other advantages. That's why Bitcoin cannot be defined. And I've reported before that on Nobel Prize winners that have basically said the same thing. They say it's stupid to try to define this because it has more than one meaning. It's going to mean something different to every person. It's subjective. So, yes, as I'm just taking a look here, on December 24th, 1933, a tribunal of only 3 congressmen passed the Federal Reserve Act. It was not ratified by all states. Yes, what was that? What was it called? It was called the rush of Congress or something like that, because it was on Christmas Eve, and they didn't have everybody present. Yep, I do remember, and that's so good, bro. I'm so glad that you're pointing this stuff out. You guys, yeah, feel free to click on the links. That's why I got the bot ready. Look at that. We can post links now. Yeah. So yeah. Ripple, case in point. Ripple is a different type of digital currency to Bitcoin. It shot up in 2017, growing 36 times over as more and more people realize the potential of it. The innovation. There is innovation in Ripple that is now lacking in Bitcoin, and as such, the power and relevance of the digital currency is no longer as big as it was. So what I'll say is that Ripple has a lot of lower transaction fees, but I will say that Ripple is not a cryptocurrency that I'm one that I can really support a lot of for multiple reasons. And why I'm saying that is because Ripple has done some things to some people that don't make me comfortable, such as Ripple can freeze and take funds at any time that it feels that somebody's using its funds in suspicious or unusual ways. Now, suspicious and unusual are very broad words, which are very important because that's in their terms and conditions. And you have to ask them what the definition of suspicious is and what the definition of unusual is, and hope that you're not going to get a whole bunch of more words that you're going to have to ask the same questions about. So that's really where it is. And the other part that I don't feel comfortable with Ripple right now is that 37% of all Ripple is owned by the founder. And because of that, that's hard for me to see that as not being centralized. And that's why as well, Charlie Lee recently gave up and sold all of his Litecoin just so that way he could further decentralize Litecoin. And Ripple has as well frozen the funds of its previous co-founder, its former co-founder that no longer works with them, but it has frozen their funds. And that's just something where they were saying that they were doing it because of some suspicious activity from that co-founder a long time ago. But also, it has me concerned about when they might deem something else suspicious or unusual in the future, and you have a lot of funds on that network, if it's all going to be frozen. So yeah, your stuff could be frozen at any time by the makers, and the makers own 37% of it. And the reason why it shot up so much is that they're trying to get into the banks and teach the banks that, like, the banks can do this. And so the banks are like, yeah, we're totally about it. Yeah, nobody's come to us with cryptocurrencies. And that's because a lot of people are trying to avoid banks with cryptocurrencies because they see that that's the whole point. So Ripple seems to be going right in the face of cryptocurrencies, and that's why you're going to see a lot of dispute over that. And you're going to see a lot of people saying Ripple needs to rip our IP and die. And so that's it. But however, I will say this, that Ripple is shooting up a lot right now, and there are ways to make profits off of Ripple without necessarily having to believe in the product. So that's just it there. Oh yeah, let's see what else we got. The U.S. Constitution says that only Congress may issue coinage backed by specie held by the U.S. Treasury through the U.S. Mint. The Federal Reserve Act. Watch Wizard of Oz, right? There's so many. Oh man, I'm gonna do like a 5-hour talk about Wizard of Oz, man. And through through allegory tells the story of the division of the people into persons: the straw man, the tin man, and the lion, and the king with no courage. The Oz is the unit in which specie, silver and gold, are traded. Yeah, absolutely. Did you know as well that on the original filming of The Wizard of Oz, Ray, that they were going to cast Dorothy with silver slippers, but they thought that it would give away too much, and so they instead cast her with red slippers. They didn't want the silver to be walking all over the gold and things like that, all over the yellow brick road, and they thought that it was just going to be giving away too much. So look that up, see if you can find that, because that's something very important, and you've got to ask yourself, why? Why'd you do that? And see if you can find an answer. I would love to see a link on that too. So next, and just to start ending this and getting near to the positive notes here, is that Telegraph put out an article that says how initial bounty offerings can help the unbanked. And this has actually got some beautiful art to it too. So let me just go ahead and bring this up. So initial bounty offerings are amazing. So I want you guys to see this. I like that art. Isn't that cool? So what is an initial bounty offering? It's an incentivized framework. Initial bounty offerings, or IBOs, are a structured way to crowdsource human resources, business development, marketing, and user acquisition. They offer network tokens in exchange for contributions to the ecosystem. This allows a blockchain organization to expand its reach, as well as a crowdsource from a large pool of people worldwide to complete tasks or projects. An IBO can offer bounties for services, user inputs, products, and any other work the platform needs to grow. They can be calculated using real-world raw costs and inputs, or by standards set out by the network founders. So that's beautiful. So do you have an idea that you want to birth in the crypto sphere? Do you feel that you're able to do it all? I don't think so. So if you can't do it all, then what you would do is you would just make an IBO with part of your white paper. And you would just go ahead and offer initial bounties to developers, marketers, coders, blockchain experts, all of those things, to try to get your cryptocurrency started so that it can thrive as well. And let me tell you, it's not hard, because there have been over 1,000 cryptocurrencies created in just the last year. So it's like, let's go. And like, if you got an idea and it's going to be able to help out, I definitely hope that you create a cryptocurrency for that. So anyways, what are the types of bounties out there? There are multiple types. Depending on the participants' skill sets and resources, they could be bounty hunters, individuals who actively complete bounties and claim token rewards during the initial bounty offering period. Benefactors, individuals who choose to support a project's mission, purchasing a certain amount of bounties and receiving tokens in return. Builders, people who participate in the bounty offering by building products and services the platform requires to live long and prosper. Users of the network who sign up during the IBO period and receive a nominal amount of initial tokens to use toward payment for services. And promoters, partners, organizations, and individuals who claim promotion-based bounties that advertise and market any platform. And it says here the Ucash platform, but any platform. So yeah, what do you pay them? What do you do with them once you pay for them? Once paid, holders of, you decide for yourself. Once paid, holders of bounty tokens then decide on their own what they want to do with them. Exchange them in the market or for cash or digital currency, use them to pay for goods and services inside the network, or hold on to them for future use. Those who want to participate but aren't interested in completing bounties themselves, though, can become benefactors. A benefactor pays the value of a bounty to the organization, which allows the organization itself to hire others to complete it. So, if you don't have any skills but you want to end up being a contributor to a project, you would have to contribute a certain amount that allows that team to hire somebody to complete another part of the project. But that's beautiful, because then you're able to see where your coins are going to work, and then it's going to end up coming back and giving you coins. And that's how you could participate in some of these projects before they even get to the market. And that's a very good opportunity, because if you're able to participate in something like this, then you can get easily like 1,000, 100,000, 10 million coins for nothing, for something like $100. And then if those 10 million coins, all of a sudden when they hit the exchange, even go up to like a penny, even go up to a dime, maybe even $1. That's how we've been seeing a lot of these cryptocurrencies going. If it even goes up to $1, then you just got $10 million for participating in on a great project. And that was you, as a sovereign investor, being able to make a good decision and seeing where your decisions are going, and then logging that. And that's great. So that's part of it. Fourth, why an IBO and not an ICO? And yeah, that's just basically going into the fact of like, it's let's see, participation and distribution network growth. Since the ICO market cap is fairly small compared to the entire cryptocurrency market, large buyers can easily manipulate an ICO and provide unfair benefits to a small group of people at the expense of the rest of the community. They're called whales. And if these buyers are quick to the market, they can buy up the vast majority of tokens in minutes, cutting out the average user as well as adversely affecting the future of that token. And that is true, because there have been some great tokens that should have a lot more value right now, but because right when they were released, a whole bunch of, like, actually just not even a whole bunch, like even like 10 people that have a lot of money, a lot of Bitcoin, like 100 Bitcoin, will go and they will like push 100 Bitcoin at this tiny little coin and pump it way up. And then as they pump it way up, then they will sell all of their coin, and everybody is buying into this coin because they're like, oh my goodness, like it's starting to go up, holy cow, like I want to get into this. So all these other people buy in, and as they buy in, this big whale sells all of their coins, and what happens is the price just goes boom, and it starts to fall, and it dumps fast. I just explained what a pump and dump is for you guys there. So if anybody didn't know, that's what that is. And a pump and dump, and a few of these coins have been affected because of a pump and dump, and they have not been able to recover because of that. And so that's something that an IBO allows people to see the contributions happening and it doesn't have to take like some whale coming in to like ruin it or anything like that. ICOs are also only available to those who have capital to invest in cryptocurrencies to process investments. By its very nature, this excludes a large portion of the world's population. An estimated 2 billion adults are considered unbanked. That is, they lack access to financial institutions that most of us take for granted. Many of them, however, do have internet access, which makes them ideally suited for getting involved in the world of cryptocurrency. By distributing tokens through an IBO model, it allows those without the financial means to get involved and contribute in other ways. So IBOs are ways that you could contribute without ever having to end up worrying about something like a bank. In fact, if we were to start to use IBOs, let me ask you guys this. Would it be something that we could tax if we were just contributing our good hard-earned labor to a project? Whether you're a coder, a marketer, something. So basically, what is the current state of the traditional banking system? It's expensive, it's non-transparent, and it's non-inclusive. Traditional banking services are slow in their ability to innovate and adapt. That's why they have had issues quickly growing technologically savvy populations in the developing world. At the same time, small entities usually provide financial services with high regulatory and maintenance costs. See, it costs them a lot to end up keeping up with all the regulations that are about to come through. Closed source APIs, meaning that you can't use like amazing things with it and start to display like the exchange in an app for yourself. Expensive hardware and software modules and intense security. This always ends up with high transaction costs, complex procedures, and delays. Over 2 billion adults don't have access to formal financial services, access to loans, sending and receiving funds, secure assets, just banking in general, guys, checking and receiving accounts. They are mostly based in countries with developing economies such as Africa, the Middle East, East Asia, and the Pacific region. Underdeveloped banking infrastructure, high costs of financial services, lack of proper government identification. These are, along with low income, frequent civil conflicts, and wars, are all contributing factors to the limited banking presence outside major urban centers in those economies. So blockchains can provide, IBOs can provide financial inclusion. A peer-to-peer financial services network might help. IBOs are used as a method to distribute network tokens and incentivize participation. Network tokens are universal access keys which give users access to services on the network as well as advanced functionalities. By providing tokens in an IBO format rather than through an ICO, anyone who has access to the internet can become part of the ecosystem in exchange for their expertise. Pairing the IBO format with a blockchain-based financial platform and digital asset converter network can take things one step further. Platforms such as Ucash can convert fiat money into secure holdings of digital assets, and that's from different points of the world. They can also offer access to a wide range of digital currency services, buy, sell, trade, and store digital virtual currencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others. Financial services, they can provide loans, bill payments, remittance, and foreign exchange, legal and human services, notarization, escrow, and identity. So how does that work? Let's see. So let me just check chat real fast. Yes, capital, not money, death. You're given life, not by the U.S., not by the Vatican, but by love. The Holy Spirit is in you. There you go. Look at all this, man. Yo, here we go. Yeah, Ray's feeling it, man. You're on fire right now. You're alive and well. Sovereignty is with the people. We, the people, have the inalienable right to contract according to all law. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And that's why I was wanting to say that, like, if you're truly sovereign, then you may be able to end up writing into USI Tech and saying, like, hey, I'm not going to end up telling people that they can guarantee income or anything on this. So if it's at all possible, I'd like to try to see if I can keep my account open with you guys, especially if I don't tell other people about it. Could be a good move, man. So yeah, How does that work? So how is this whole thing that I've been talking about, this IBO, work? Because this is a good way for you to be able to contribute to something without even having a bank. And if you don't even have a bank, then it's going to be hard for us to end up having to have all this type of regulation and all of these other things. Because yeah, people are going to be giving out their services and like their expertise and contributing in so many ways, and it's going to be beautiful. So it says converters allow users to load and unload money onto the platform in local currency. They can be retail converters, money service businesses, commercial stores, retail shops, and individual mobile converters who can meet with users to do in-person conversions, or online converters who provide remote services such as online deposits and transfers. Converters set their service offering details such as fees, operating hours, and user verification levels, and could take advantage of built-in accounting. Look, built-in accounting. Built-in accounting and integrated compliance systems. Through the UCash platform, people from different regions of the world will be able to access financial services, and through the IBO model, they won't need to possess cryptocurrencies to do that. So see, that's really nice. If you don't have to possess a cryptocurrency to participate in a blockchain, as well as to be able to benefit from that blockchain and that network from whatever it's promising you, then that's beautiful. And that's a way that we can end up avoiding a lot of this other regulation that we have right now. So I just wanted you guys to see that near the end of this stream so that you can see, all right, we got regulations going on, and it's really hard to do business with countries that have a lot of regulations, but we the people get through this. We always do. And from that, you can see that now, instead of you guys wanting to regulate the ICOs, okay, cool. You're just going to make us go ahead and switch it up with the letter and call it an IBO. And everything that you had a problem with the ICOs, okay, cool. We're just going to go ahead and get around that with the IBOs, because we are humans. We are going to get past it. That's all there is to it, my friends. And that's why I'm not worried about what's happening there. But I just want us to make sure that as we're watching these streams, that we're staying aware and we're staying active and we're staying sovereign, just by closing that gap of education, just by seeing the streams. Next, Bitcoinist.com put out an article today that says, extra, read all about how extra credit can help with blockchain and crypto education. Knowledge is power, something that extra credit is well aware of. The platform has plans to revolutionize the crypto education industry by offering anyone and everyone the opportunity to learn about cryptocurrencies. If 2017 has taught us anything, it is that the future of the blockchain industry is bright. The world is starting to see that the underlying technology of cryptocurrencies can be utilized for much more than just that. It can also offer countless business solutions over a wide range of industries. If blockchain has seen an impressive growth surge, then the digital currency industry has seen a phenomenal one. Even though Bitcoin is arguably the most well-known cryptocurrency, this growth is applied to the industry as a whole. Buying and investing in cryptocurrencies can be a lucrative endeavor. However, it is a relatively new concept for most people. As we know, education is key, especially when it comes to putting your money into an investment. Extra credit can help with that. Whether you have little or no experience in the industry, or if you like to expand your existing knowledge, this platform caters to all. So it's a 10-member team that's available to answer any questions that members have regarding the industry of cryptocurrency. The team prides itself on making the learning process as simple as possible, ensuring that members know all they need to about cryptocurrencies before trading and investing in it. Wow. So it looks as though they're right here. Extra credit can become the new SEC. Do you see that? And do you see how extra credit, its intentions are just beautiful? They just want to make this process simple. They're just a 10-person team that's here ready to answer questions. That's pretty much all I need. And I think that the SEC should definitely get together with extra credit and start taking some notes. Not only on what extra credit's doing, but how they operate. Because extra credit, I think, could end up becoming some new regulators in the future. So that's beautiful, because as this is, you can now see that they're very open about this stuff, and they want to end up making sure that they're bringing affordable crypto education to the masses. So this is excellent. And there's training platforms that are available, none of which are as comprehensive as Bitcoin homework. In addition, members won't have to worry about deciphering complex terms and technical jargon. And it has a pre-sale and an ICO. And so Extra Credit is currently holding their pre-sale. So if you believe in this, then you could definitely end up getting in. I believe in it. There are 100 million extra tokens for sale during this period, set at a dime per token. In addition, investors purchasing during this period will receive a 20% bonus, set at a limit of 20 million tokens. So if you get 20 million tokens, then you will receive a 20% bonus. At least 20 million. You can get more than that. But there it is. That's where they're trying to end up making it attractive for investors. The public ICO is scheduled for the 14th for Valentine's Day, and it will last until March 14th. During this time, 300 million extra tokens will be available to purchase. The remaining 180 million will be distributed like this. 150 million will be retained by the platform in a public wallet. 25 million will also go into a public wallet for the platform's ICO referral program. The last 5 million tokens will be held in reserve for a bug bounty program and for future promotions. Yo, that's beautiful. And that's a great way of being able to allocate the funds of a beginning project here. So, and I especially like this right here, where it says that they're going to end up putting 5 million tokens aside for a bug bounty program, which in the previous article we just talked about how, you know, if you want to be a helper or a supporter at some point, if extra tokens, if their network has a bug or if there's a problem with it or it's not compatible with something and you have coding knowledge, you'll be able to contribute to it and you will have some of the 5 million tokens that were set aside for it. That's beautiful. And we all knew about this before we even bought into it. You see how, like, regulators don't need to do any protecting of me when I end up sitting here and I look at this and I see this and I'm like, okay, look, I see what's going on. If I want to put my money into it, I'll put my money into it. Okay? And if I don't want to, then I won't. But that's where I'm just trying to say that you don't have to regulate me, baby. I've been doing this for a while. It's okay. So, the IRS cannot tax Bitcoin. Why? God is the highest sovereign. His son told us, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Bitcoin is not Caesar's. It is ours. Yo, can we put that on a bumper sticker? Bitcoin is not Caesar's. It is ours. Don't pay tax unless you sell it for fiat. Caesar's money. Challenge the law, protect your sovereignty. Absolutely. I can't remember, I think Samuel Adams said, to resist tyranny is obedience to God. And as you guys can see, there's a lot of tyrannical things that, you know, the government is even doing. Doesn't matter which country you're in, except for maybe Belarus, and except for maybe Estonia. Y'all are just, looking good right now until I find something else, until I find something out, you know. And so I'm not a sheep. I'm not closed-minded to it. But, like, yeah, you know, I could find something out bad that's about Belarus or Estonia that's like, okay, I knew it. And I know that, like, at some point, you know, I probably will find something out that's not too savory about those places. But I just want you to know they're trying to do the most that they can to embrace this stuff and advance their countries forward. And I think that's beautiful. So, and they're doing it in right ways and healthy ways. Meanwhile, you have other countries that are so top heavy with so many people working in so many areas, and they're trying to do things so much that they're going to end up having different opinions on things so that way they can prove their relevancy. And that's where you see those schisms and the fractures and the breaks in those other countries. So, yeah, as that is, I just wanted you guys to see that. And this is the news that I have for tonight. That's it. And I was just going to go ahead and start transitioning out I'm gonna start to figure out some things that are going on with this this computer too, because like, man, I gotta end up getting this to work. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I just really appreciate everybody for hopping aboard the spaceship, and I thank you guys so much for being the regulars, for taking a look at what's going on here. Because as you can see now, if you would have watched the last 3 streams for the last 3 nights, now you would have like definitely got a good idea of what's happening with BitConnect, what's happening with USI Tech, what's happening with regulation, even what's happening a little bit with taxes. And so because of that, I just really appreciate you guys, because this type of knowledge is how we retain our sovereignty, is by education. And that's really it. That's all it is. And what's beautiful about it is that it's free. You can get so much education and information online, even still, even though the net isn't completely neutral right now. You can still get a lot of info. So I just thank you guys, and it means a lot, for me to have you guys on the channel doing this, because I definitely don't take this for granted. And what I'll say as well is finally, just remember the Southern knowledge, or the old knowledge, that says if you're holding a hammer in your hand, all you're going to see is nails. So if you're a regulator, if you're somebody that is an attorney general, if you're somebody that's like high up in the government, of any government, and you're being told that you must protect other people, and that's your job, I comprehend that what you feel you're doing is right. But I want you to know that as this is right now, that options are what's right. And when you have an office and all these people working for you, when you're trying to regulate things, and you have all these documents in your office, and you're sitting around all day trying to figure out how to make sure that these companies are not committing fraud, you're going to look, and when you have BitConnect come across your desk, you're going to compare BitConnect to all the laws, and you're going to find something that is not going to be legit. Every time. Every single time. Every time. And that's what I have to say is to the regulators, is it doesn't matter if it's BitConnect, it doesn't matter if it's like the holiest, most sparkly, beautiful thing on the planet. You're still breaking a law somehow. It still is. And when you're a regulator and you have this as your job to do every day, and all day you try to find out what's wrong and shut down companies for them not following your rules, well, of course you're going to do it. Probably 99 out of 100 times. And I'm not an idiot to that. And I want you guys to see that as well. Is that like when somebody has their job of trying to end up regulating something, they're going to find a way to regulate just about everything and feel good about doing their job that way. So that's the other part, is that, we have the mindset of that it's a good thing to have the regulations, but, that is definitely not true with some of the areas that we've seen on the stream in the past. So with that, I'm just going to say thank you to everybody. It means a lot. So I'm going to end up ending off with a couple of things that I'm grateful for. First of all, I'm grateful that I still have a good connection on my stream, and it hasn't quit on me, and we're able to end up like ending proper. And I'm also grateful that I'm able to end up following the storyline of what's happening here, and I'm able to communicate that. So I'm grateful for those two things, and I just wanted to start injecting that which I'm grateful for into each stream as much as I can. So, and I'm also super excited that you guys always get on the spaceship and help out. So just by being here and being present, it helps out. We wouldn't have had audio for all of this if it was for Ray. Thank you so much. And you know what else? We'll end up being back. We'll be back tomorrow for crypto news at 5 o'clock Universal. And we may end up getting on for esoteric study session, just because it's so pertinent, especially now. So thank you guys. Thank you to everybody for making this what it is. This is Sovereign Starseed saying good night to the humans of Earth.